Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Last Epoch dev stream. I am your host, Mike, and let's hop right in. We're still, oh, that's, our audio settings are wrong. It's okay, fix that. QA is some food name, question and answer. If you ask it, I'll answer it. Ding. A little high here. Alright, let's get our bear. You know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna actually go to the Temporal Sanctum, and we're gonna play Julra. And I'll be honest, it's been a long time. I don't know if I've ever actually played the live version of it. Only like a bajillion prototype versions. So you might see me making some stupid mistakes. And we've got Arrowward has subscribed 3 months in a row. Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening. How you doing today? Actually, ooh, some nice little boots there. Hello, Heavy! Question of the day, when will you choose a new class? I've been really enjoying this one. If people want me to switch it up, I can. Yeah, I won't start from scratch again next time, though. I don't know what it is about bear, I just like it. I did want to jumpstart things a little bit here, so I found Kermod's Cage in my stash that I may with legendary potential. So I gotta find an exalted chest to go with it, really. And my shield does have legendary potential as well, and I do have an exalted one here that I could beef up a little bit. Good stuff doesn't really survive in my stash that much. And thank you very much, Heavy. There's 10 gifted subs to the channel, much appreciated. Congrats to anyone who got one of those. Wield your power with responsibility. Or not. Not your mom. Oh, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. Don't forget, everyone, if you have a question for me, don't forget to @Last Epoch Game, and I will see it much easier. Blind. Got a new comment though from someone here. Hey, I love your game. Been watching it since the beginning. Bought Kickstarter. Well, here we are today, hammered in for life. Oh yes. Oh yes. No matter how much they buff everything else, hammered in will still be good. Dungeon spoilers when? I know. I saw a draft on some communication about dungeons going out soon. It's still a pretty rough draft, so I don't know when it's going out. Yeah, it's dungeon stuff's coming along good. It's really interesting to see, and I really like the fact that we can kind of clump this new mechanic into this one place, and being able to have that extra 6th ability on your bar that's like a specific ability that everyone has, it really makes the stuff you can the mechanics you can kind of like put into the dungeon, really cool. So like, that's quite often the starting point for a dungeon for us. Well, there's kind of 3 starting points, I guess, for us for dungeons, and it's each dungeon kind of has to have all 3 of these things. And my favorite place to start is with the ability. So every dungeon needs to have a special ability, and like a special mechanic, and a special reward. So the Temporal Sanctum, the first one there, the special mechanic is you can jump between 2 timelines. The special mechanic is that you need to jump between the 2 to progress through the dungeon and fight the boss as well. And then the special reward is the legendary maker machine. I'm not so good at words, guys, sometimes. And so my favorite place to start is with the ability itself. I think the ability and the mechanic that are kind of intrinsically linked, so maybe there's only 2 major things. But it really does make for interesting boss fights as well, which I'm really excited to show once that gets released. We've had to make quite a few new mechanics for some of the bosses coming up, which I love. But regarding spoilers in general, I did not come empty-handed today, which is great. Had lots of help. You can almost always tell when someone's come through for me with like the spoilers for the stream. That's when I've got a whole bunch. The pickaxe base is just so terrible. It's always an interesting necklace there. The negative all res hurts right now because, oof, not so good. Charging uphill, still a problem. Mike! I did this! I saw someone on one of the platforms, it was either Reddit or Twitch or some. No, it wasn't Twitch, I guess. It was somewhere that said Dreadalus, and it was the same E, and I'm like, I bet that's him, but I don't know. We're gonna see some new uniques that complement the dungeon mechanics, like Jeweler's Ring. I thought it was quite cool. Yeah, I think there's some some new uniques coming this patch as well. Julra and Temple Sanctum in general was very heavily based around like unique items in particular, which is why there was an emphasis there. We wanted to have those uniques coming out right with it as well, which was unfortunate that it didn't. But fine, in the end. Hello, Master Sword. I'm pretty good today, actually. Although I'm starting a kitchen reno on Sunday, so, you know, ask me again next week, we'll see how it is. Not a full one, just replacing the floors. Because they're so squeaky. Every step you take, every move you make, there's a giant squeak and it's annoying. For everyone born in the 80s, it's also a song. Yeah, McMagic, don't forget to at me and I'll see the question there. Yeah, looks like someone else answered it. The question is, will every dungeon have a unique ability that goes with it, or a special button like Temple Sanctum? Yeah, there's a possibility that some dungeons in the future could share abilities. So like we might do another dungeon like Temple Sanctum that has that time travel effect. So they both have the same button. Like that's possible, but unlikely for a while at least. We've got more than 2 good ideas for it. Any thoughts on dungeons and future content that might not be explicitly tied to an endgame system, for example, legendaries, but rather some other reward system? Oh yeah, definitely, and you'll see that immediately. Next patch. More mundane rewards. Yeah, mundane might not be the right word, but less hard linked to a specific gearing mechanic. Maybe more generalized might be a better way of putting it. Oh, yeah, lightning res is not great. We're just gonna die here. We might just die here. Okay, if we die, we're gonna go find the Temporal Sanctum, and I'm just realizing right now that I've never gone to it properly. It's just portal to it. I know the scene code for portaling to it. Last week I asked about D2 style lighting, about like a ring where it's like there's a light radius, that sort of stuff. I went back to 8.5 post, and the first picture took looks like fires have special lighting. Is this just lighting done well, or is there something special about it? That's just lighting that's actually done properly. There's nothing really special going on there. But like, hold your breath on that one. Don't actually hold your breath, but like, yeah. Good evening, Mr. Flibble. Happy Friday to you too. Our DPS it's not good. You know, some people say like they have good DPS. I wouldn't say that about myself right now. I found slightly better gloves in my stash as well. So just like very minorly better of the set gloves. I may have to just switch out the set pieces here. I'm level 70 currently. We're in a level 75 zone, so like I guess it does make a little sense that I'm a little slower. Like if I stop tacking, I just die. I think I may have just found a bug? Maybe not. Okay. Yeah! There's totally a bug there. If you have the bear roar when you finish charging node, you can press roar right as you finish charging, and it'll roar twice, and then won't show the cooldown timer on your bar properly. Interesting. You see the little dot, so I can't use it again probably. I can't use it, even though like the cooldown timer's not refreshing. And then now it starts refreshing. It's like it goes on double cooldown. Like it goes to like -1 charges. That's funny. I go right up to 9 stacks of Maelstrom easy and hacks. Hacks, yo! Alright. Remember, if you want Mike to see your question, yes, if you want me to see it, tag me. Because I am blind. I'm a blind old man and the text is too small. Nah. Back in my day, the text was 10 times bigger. Is there any plan to have more damage conversion unique set items? Asking for a friend who's trying to make a chronostasis build. Yeah, I mean, in general, I think that conversions can be really interesting. Element conversions can be really interesting and open up new build combinations, which is great. I think there's sort of this tipping point that happens, and we've definitely talked about this in design meetings and skill design meetings and things like that, is where there's this tipping point of you can actually have too many conversions, and suddenly it doesn't really matter what element anything is, because it'll just convert to whatever you want, so you're just picking the skills for the mechanics and the element is just sort of a whatever, ignored. So we really try to be careful on what we pick to get conversions, and to make sure that they are things that we that end up being like thematic in some way or are interesting in some way, where it's just like, okay, great, it's now fire damage instead of lightning damage. Why? Like, there has to be a good reason behind it to do it. But we do know that it is something that people in general like do gravitate towards, do really enjoy. So we'll quite often that is a really common thing that gets pitched. There's a ton of unique items that get pitched that never make it to print, or like something will be changed or whatever. And a really common thing that's pitched is an element conversion. Like probably at most 10% of the element conversions that get pitched actually make it to use. So it's definitely a popular mechanic, and I see people asking for more of them for sure. But it's definitely we try and make them intentional instead of just more element conversions. Just okay, do this one to void now, do this one to poison now. Alright, what's your take on the character power discussion Blizzard and Perry had on his podcast? If you watched it, I did watch it. I thought it was great. It was a long podcast, and I will admit I was working at the same time, so sort of like stopped to listen to specific things, other things I was paying less attention to, so I may not remember all of it exactly. But yes, I do remember the part. So I think the gist of what the conversation was that most of the player power comes from skill trees and passives rather than items, and so most of the item production, or most of the item slots you're looking for just to build defense. And so it's like items to survive and skills to deal damage, and there's no real point in taking many of the damage dealing items because they're so excessively powerful nodes. in skill trees, and I think there was a lot of merit to that assessment. And please correct me if I've got that wrong on what they were saying, but regardless of what they were saying, I do think that is the case in a lot of places. And last week we had people asking about like similar stuff about this, and I think there's definitely room for, like when people were asking last week, it was more about like, oh, like just put more interesting nodes into skill trees, and we do, believe me, the last nodes that go into any skill tree are the nodes that are just like 10% more damage. Those are the last nodes that go in because they're the least exciting, the least interesting, the least fun for us to make. Like they're just, it's a single line in the skill tree script. It doesn't even go into the mutator. There's no extra work to be done on it. It just works, and it's kind of like whatever. So let me just read the second half of this question because I started rambling without finishing the question. Sorry. Is it something you guys are aware of? Yes. That basically all classes benefit from building tanky, since a big majority of the damage comes from the skill tree ability tree. Yes. Okay, I should just finish the question. Yes, I am aware of what you're talking about, and it is something we are looking at, and I think in a perfect scenario, which like obviously we aim for but don't expect to ever reach perfect, you'd be getting damage and defenses in combination from both sources, or from all sources. So like you're looking at your blessings, and you're like, oh, okay, I've got some blessings that are damaged, and I got some blessings that are defensive. Oh, this is a perfect roll in that one. Look at that. And same with items, and same with your skills. So you're like taking specific. I gotta change that hotkey. I do have it written down and change that default hotkey, by the way, Zed or Z. So when you're looking at your skill trees, like some of them you're taking defensive points and some of them you're taking offensive points, and I think having that balance in all places is the goal we strive for, and it's not something we're, I would say, overly successful at yet. If only you were a Swarmblade, you could have made a real bug hunt joke. Yeah. What spoilers you got for us today? I do have spoilers today. I could share one early. Okay, I will. If I die here, I'll definitely share one. But I'll finish the nice guess. Finish the echo. Get that berserk going, come on. Yes, I shall berserk. And it will be me that is the one who berserks. And you shall rue the day I berserked. Popped out of form. Oh my goodness me. Oh. Yeah, that's why you don't stand in the fire, kids. Okay. Why not just have skills in the trees where you can put a point to choose your conversion? So okay, this Emery Prize 0001. This is what I was talking about having intentional conversions. So if there was like if every tree just had, let's say like Maelstrom, and let's take Maelstrom as an example, and you've just got like a list of conversions, and it's just like, okay, fire, lightning, cold. I guess cold's where it starts, but like fire, lightning, poison, all these conversions that are there, and you just pick one of them as like 1 point. It just picks the conversion you want. You can only pick one of them. That is actually something we considered at one point. The big problem with that is that sometimes we like to how to put this? A really good balancing tool is being able to put certain things in different locations. So maybe let's say we only want shamans to have access to lightning maelstrom, just as an example. So in that case, we don't want to put that in the maelstrom skill tree. We want to put that in the shaman passive tree up here, right? Or let's say we only want, or we only want people to be able to convert it to poison if you are not using Baldur's Wrath. Random example. I don't know why that makes any sense, but let's just assume that was the thing where we wanted to make it mutually exclusive with Baldur's Wrath. So then we put it on a unique weapon. And being able to put these different conversions in different spots means that we can restrict the combinations in which they're used in, and it's a really key and important balancing tool that we have in order to be able to balance the game effectively and keep things thematically appropriate. So we like a poison maelstrom is basically just aura of decay, and Acolyte already has that ability, so we don't want to encroach on Acolytes by giving Primalists basically that same ability. Okay, first little teaser. Ba-boom! What's that? Who's that? It's pretty cool. So you may notice there's a lot of spoilers recently about NPCs, just in general. There's been quite a few of them recently, and we're going through and really trying to give a lot more flavor and feel to a lot of our NPCs, and really like bring the world more alive. And it looks like your uncle, and like just infuse more personality into the world. And a lot of our NPCs before this were fairly generic, so we want to make them more memorable, more recognizable. A lot of that's done through like color and silhouette and things like that, but just things like this. Alright, I'll let that sit there for a second. Let's answer another question here. With the last two patches being so content heavy, and this patch having a lot of resources being placed in projects that won't be released this patch, multiplayer, how hard is it to balance that line of feeling like you're giving players new and exciting content while also putting the proper resources into those large projects that need added resources to keep their timelines on track? Yeah, this is one of the biggest difficulties that we're facing right now, for sure. You've identified huge issues that we have regarding, because we do have a pretty decent sized player base, and it's fantastic to see everyone playing and the feedback we get from it. It helps push our development so great. Like all the stuff we get from people who are playing right now, it really, I think, has improved the game immensely. And providing new stuff to keep people interested while we're still going through this heavy development phase, and developing a lot of these back-end systems that don't see the light of day for 5, 6, 7 patches, is it's tricky. And so, like, for example, this patch here that we're leading up to now, I've done almost zero non-multiplayer work. Almost zero. I say almost because I've done like one tiny little thing. And like normally I spend most of my time working on skills. And so like when the patch preview comes out, you will notice a very significant lack in the skills that are coming out. And so yeah, we are trying to balance that. We're trying to, a lot of the goals are to, and we're reevaluating this all the time. And actually today, I think right now, there's a meeting happening about this exact topic. And having content that we can push out every patch, that's not just bug fixes and engine upgrades and things like that is exciting and interesting, but doesn't take a lot of the time of the people who are working on multiplayer, is really important. And yeah, so we're still working on making that efficient and good. But yes, that's a real tricky one. It's a whole person's job just to handle that question. Okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Or did I say I was gonna die? I was gonna go to the Sanctum. Okay. I don't even know where it is. Well, there it is. I think it's in here. I think. I don't know if it's written anywhere in game where it actually is. I think this is where it is. Quick, someone tell me if I'm going the wrong way. Do you guys have any ideas you can share when it comes to the Mage Rework? I mean, I think rework's a heavy-handed term there, and I don't think that is a Mage Rework planned. Some abilities, individual abilities, definitely need reworks, but as a class as a whole, I think that's a heavy-handed term. There are some key abilities that really need to be looked at. I think teleport might be the one I want to look at the most personally. But there's a lot that comes with the third mastery class that will be coming out eventually as well, and preparation for that needs to happen. For a long time, Mage has been developed and designed with only 2 masteries in mind, and so the same thing happens with Acolyte and Rogue. Do you have a release date for 085? We're not quite locked in on the release date enough to share it yet, but we have a plan. We have an internal date, a tentative internal date. When we do have a release date for the patch, you will see that very prominently posted on news forums, on our Discord, on our Reddit, on our every other social media platform that we post to that I'm not aware of. Likely, I don't know, Facebook. I feel like we must still post to Twitter. Is it up here? I've actually never gone to the this place this properly before. Dev tools ruin me sometimes. Is it that door down there? I bet it's that door. Are Frostbite builds going to be saddened in the new patch? I don't think so. Maybe. There's really not a lot happening to skills next patch at all. Oh, Bleeding Heart. Is this the one? Pretty sure that's got a change coming. I found it, guys. I made it. Did I not trigger the waypoint though? Is there an in waypoint? Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, we're good. I'm just gonna drop a bunch of stuff on the ground here. I don't care about. Some of it might be good. Oh, you know what? That Viper Tail has 2 legendary potential on it, actually. Wow. Hmm. Okay. Hello. It's time to rock and roll.
A waste of time.
Bruh. Did I press transform back? Am I bad? I guess this is a low-level version, so I should probably just be cruising through it. Alright. I know you probably spent a lot of resources in multiplayer, but have you thought about making Last Epoch stand out as a single-player game compared to competing with Path of Exile and Last Ark? At least for me personally, Last Epoch is my go-to game with my internet down. Yeah, I like... We always look at the single-player value of Epoch as well. The original... And the thing that all of us have been like striving towards from the beginning, and as like a major point for us making this game in the first place, was having it be a multiplayer game that we can play with our friends and family and things like that. So it's multiplayer is definitely a really key part of it for us, and like yeah, we really want the multiplayer part of it. It's pretty important to us. Okay, let's go this way. Oh, the way is blocked. Okay, fine, we can go this way. Oh, it's still blocked. It's bullcrap. How about a question you have never heard before? Multiplayer when? When it's ready! The sound has been so... Oh, the sound has been so bad echoey for the stream these past days. Am I the only one? I noticed last stream you mentioned it was bad for you too. I hope it's not a widespread problem. Looks like most people are fine. Sorry it's a problem for you. I don't know how to fix it or really do much to it. It's a pretty basic setup that I've got rolling. It's like just directly capture what's coming through my headphones. D, that's the button. D. Oh, you son of a bitch. Just feel like, let me in. Okay, we're going to this one. I don't care what it is. Wait, it's this way? There we go, yeah. Totally run through this legitimately all the time, I swear. Rings! I'll take rings. The game has echo, the voice is fine. I can drop volume a little bit. Just a touch. Drop my system sound capture in Streamlabs too. All right.
How are they manipulating time? Could it be?
Cause I got a piece of the Epoch, Julra. That's how. Deal with it. Mike, do you know about the winged carrion enemy? Not specifically off the top of my head. Its model staying red and highlight targetable, but it's actually dead models as well in the spear. Yeah, that's I do know what problem that is. We've seen it before many times. It is fixable. We have a method for fixing it. If you have a moment, and it's not already there, it would be quite helpful if you could toss it up on the forums. I do love how leveling up in bear form still spikes your mana to full. Love it. Of course, the charge won't work through that. What's actually happening when you press that button? There's a lot more happening than is initially obvious. What if you like press it in the middle of like Fury Leap? What happens? Okay, wait till you land. That makes sense. Games that may be leaking, getting caught in the mic. I doubt that's happening. It's possible. But brand new headset. Well, yeah, not brand new anymore. Christmas. And like I can see the levels, and like the mic audio is just completely zero. Like you can see it's like just zero when I'm not talking. Alright. Oh! Saw that big, like, boom! Alright, what do we got here? Daedalus! Thank you very much. That looks like 5 gifted subs. That's what that is. Much appreciated. Congrats to everyone that got one of those. Rhymed. I forgot my train whistle. I gotta start bringing it in. My the kid loves it, so it gets brought upstairs to his toys. There's a couple enemies here. One or two. All right, we're gonna go find one of these trips down. Down south.
You carry the
Yeah.
keep of them.
Let me through.
You have no use for it.
Ah, blargity flargity. Yes, blargity flargity. It's the new new sign of disgust upon reaching a dead end. Okay, we're going this way. Whew. Yeah, well. Nice for a throwing build. Make it? We're gonna make it? Yeah. Glyphs, sure, why not? Alright, Julra.
Escape is impossible.
Another one? Nope. Come back. Little bear, come back. Get that frenzy going. I think you can tank basically anything here other than the big one.
Escape is impossible. Escape is impossible.
What's going on there? Am I just misremembering how this works? It's been a little while. Like, last time I actually did this fight was in the lead up to this patch.
Escape is impossible.
Oh, that was a misclick.
Escape is impossible.
Oh, great. Woo.
Escape is impossible.
Not 100% sure what's happening.
The future cannot be denied.
Taking care of business is what's happening. Nailed it. Alright, let's go do something. Right? I'll go back to the... Nope, this way. Okay. 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 So, do we even have an exalted chest lying around anywhere to do this, to do Kermodes? Or should we go get that Viper Tail? Ton of our resistances is coming for that. Poison Void. Those two are through the roof, but it's mostly from that. Probably should have figured this out before the stream started. Oh, there's one. Let's grab all of our belts out and see what we've got. More Viper Tails. I think I may have been testing with Viper. Yeah, I was definitely testing with Viper Tail at some point. Should we just take the 4? Why not? Yeah, I'm terrible, I know. How's the new Bone Golem coming along? I haven't seen anything about the new Bone Golem in quite a while. That either means it's done or nowhere near done. We're just gonna do Viper Tail here. The best exalted belts I have. Just for fun, right? Why not? What's happening is you getting 2 pools because you failed the mechanic. No, I didn't fail it. I just suck at it. Yeah, okay, fine, I failed it. Any other exalted belts that have better stats to use? Doesn't look like it, no. That was linked, yeah. Okay. Guess I had my face in front of that, didn't I? Flip it a camera. Okay, we're gonna do this Viper Tail just for fun, because we've got one. These are both terrible to do this with. Let's do this one, why not? 17. Oh, let's use a discovery. Yeah, physical resistance, that's not bad. Phys res is terrible, isn't it? Let's actually re-roll this. Let's chaos this. Void damage. Ew. Cold damage. Ew. Lightning damage. Ew. Poison damage. Ew. Okay. It really doesn't go well with Viper Tail, I guess. We're not using it properly. Alright, let's do it. Oh, it's so bad. I don't care, I'm doing it. I'm sorry to everyone that just had a small part of their soul broken. How's Void Warlock coming along? I have no idea where the Void Warlock rumors started, or like how that even was thought of. Let me put it this way: the first time I ever heard that was someone as, "Is this rumor true?" The first time I ever heard that idea. Let's go see if that did anything. Do you have plans for additional unique idols? Maybe something along the rare exalted version of existing ones. There's no current plans to incorporate idols into the legendary system, so like through exalted affixes on idols. That doesn't mean it'll never happen, but I think that's a good way to... I think that would be a really interesting place to expand into in a cycle or something like that, like in future content, to start incorporating those mechanics. I think there's a low probability that they'll end up being in 1.0. but I think there's a pretty decent probability that they'll be in something after 1.0. If that makes any sense. Could be 2, could be 3, could be 4. Should we go half and half bear Swarmblade now with that belt? That could be good. Or should we just go Swarmblade with the belt? I think the belt's got some poison damage. You know, health to ward's a little weird. Yeah, a little bit of ward. Woohoo! Because you can't dismiss the theme of WoW, Warlock, and Dark Energy. Yes, that's a good point. I always played a Fire Warlock. I mean, not always, but most of the time. And we do have some more unique mechanics planned for Warlock. And it's interesting, Warlock's gone through quite a few design iterations that we actually pulled one of the mechanics that was going to be the like core Warlock mechanic at one point for another system. It's not out yet. But it's tricky, these classes. There's a lot of classes, and having them all feel mechanically unique, while 3 of them have these thematic links, is really tricky. So like, you have to have like Shaman, Druid, and Primalist all have this thematic nature link, but they all have very distinct mechanical separations. But there has to be enough bleed and overlap that you can dip into the other trees for multi-classing, but not so much that it's overwhelmingly the best thing to do. Where you're not like the goal is to not have a situation where you're playing a Primalist, or you're playing say a Beastmaster, and you want to take all Shaman nodes type thing. And I'm sure someone will make builds like that. Like if they're rare and neat and not the absolute perfect best build in the whole game, they're fine. But the instant it's just like, what should I play? Well, you should play a Beastmaster, but take all your nodes in Shaman. That's just like the go-to answer for like, what should I play? And I say that as the sense of like, you know, you play D2, like what should you play? Play Hammerden. It's just the best. But if it's like something a little more fluid and like it works, you can do it. It's your 5th character type thing. That's cool. Green Fire Warlock or Scrub Fire? Ooh, rid of a sentence. I played a lot of demonology. Partially because it was when I was playing, one demo lock had a guaranteed spot in a raid, basically no matter what. And for some reason, it wasn't a very popular spec because everyone wanted to be top of the charts. And our guild had we ran like 7 mages or something, and demo locks gave like a flat crit boost to spellcasters or something like that. And it was just like, if you've got that many mages, you have to have 1 Moonkin and 1 demo lock. And my roommate was a Moonkin, or a Boomkin as the kids say. And so yeah, it was. We were just like, there was no pressure on us or anything. We just showed up and didn't stand in the fire. And they were like, "Good job." We're like, "Cool." We're nowhere near on the DPS charts. Like, yes, but all our mages are. Warlock support from class, Acolyte for multiplayer like Sentinel Pally. I mean, there's definitely support elements. I would say off the beaten path support elements in Acolyte already. And I think that's I think that's a really fun system to have, right? Where it's like you can play a curse focused character where you're like mostly on bone curse and you're applying mark for death and things like this, where you're buffing your team by debuffing enemies. And I really like that sort of thing, like if it wasn't so obnoxious in D2, like Bone Prison, for like battlefield control and things like that. Shh, Kane, come on. If you remind them, then we have to do more work next week. Okay. I got another one. I'm sitting on the wrong side of the screen. Pew! That's the change we're making to teleport. Next batch. Shift across the screen. Boom. Experience? I'll take experience. What are my resistances like now? Oh, poison's still 75. Void, that was the other one that was gonna. Yeah. Okay, resistances survived. That was actually a net positive for my resistances, switching out the belts. It's the big thing that belt was doing for me. Get over here, Siege Spire. No, Avalanche, go away! It goes patew now. It goes patew. There is a get over here skill, actually. Because I remember coding it and it sucked. Can you figure out where it is? It's a little obscure and it might not quite be what you're talking about. But it's called Harpoon. At least in the back end it is. Yes, Scorpion actually does have one too, you're right, which is a nice touch for sure. But no, there's another one. There is another one. To the class if you want. Does Flame Reef have one? Kind. This is more directly just like a single target. Hey, you get over here. It's a node for something. It's not, you know. I'm sitting here. I'm like, did it get pulled? It may have got pulled. Oh crap. It's on Rogue. think it's a base rogue skill. It's not Warcry. Like there's a couple that like pull things in. Like there's this has a pulls enemies somewhere. Yeah, pulls enemies. That's not what I mean though. Targets one enemy. Go look and see, make sure we didn't actually pull it before I say what it is. Okay, there we go. Yeah, harpoon shot for the ballista is a pretty direct comparison. Oh, teaser! I forgot about that. Yeah, Daedalus, you got it. There you go. Probably right as I said it. You don't like Rogue. Rogue. I think Rogue is lacking some depth in their class still. I think the stuff so we did a whole bunch of really great stuff for Rogue, and then we're like, there's all these really great polished skills, and we're like, oh my gosh, all these other classes have these skills that are really old that we need to Amish class win. No. We have all these other skills in these classes that need to get brought to like higher quality level, and so we focused a lot on that. I'm really excited to actually get into the Rogue and like start updating some skills there and start adding new ones, filling holes, because there's a lot of really cool ideas we've had for Rogue skills over the last couple of years of like, oh, this would be really cool. Like, can we make that happen? Is it possible? And I really want to start doing those. I think a lot of them are possible. Here, what am I doing? I said I would, and here it is. Ooh, what's that? I'm gonna do a passive in the background while you guys are looking at that. I took health. Is that Warlock Armor? Not specifically, no, but Warlocks will eventually be able to use this. It's Acolyte Armor. Detachable arms. We actually have been, we've been doing a lot of stuff with like body hiding systems, dynamic body hiding systems, which is working out great. Acolyte stuff, yes. Yeah, Acolyte's getting some cool stuff this patch. Indirectly. My lightning leg. Good, lightning's fine. Get that berserk on. What? Yes. Oh, I lost it. It's tricky to keep berserk on. I almost want the base duration to be just a touch longer, like quarter of a second longer. So many times when I'm like, just fell off. But I guess that's good. Alright, now when we have Acolyte Armor topic, what do you think about Acolyte Helmet implicits? Most cases have 3 or 4 good bases that are usable for endgame. Acolyte only has 2. let's look at what those are. Let's take a peek. Yeah. I'm gonna put that armor back up on screen while I look at this, because take me a second. No, I want that. I want this. Damn it! I'm using your site for this. I hope that's okay. I really want a version of your site that's our like live development version, so that I can just like quickly reference all these things in a really nicely laid out way. That would be great. Because it's fantastic for like here when I'm talking about the live game, but it would be really nice to have it for like the development conversations. What am I doing here? Acolytes. One acolyte only. Spell damage. Which would you say are the ones that are the only good ones? Minion adaptive spell damage. Pretty narrow. Flat increased spell damage. Increased minion damage. Less narrow. Flat armor. Yeah. Probably needs a couple more. There's nothing for like dot focused acolytes or also no like there's no really good defensive options either. Yeah, I mean, just to glance at it, it looks like I'll pull up the loot filter. Yeah, that's a good idea. Very good idea. Belt. Right here's the end of it. Like to keep the enemies in suspense. Is he actually gonna finish this off or not? Oh, and I left the stuff up on the screen. Yeah, that's my bad. It's okay, guys. I'm a professional. Don't worry. Picked up something bad there. Ooh, Glyph of Despair. That'd be a cool thing to do with some of our items here. Try and steal some affixes away on them. Do any forging potential on any of them? 1. 5, 0, 15. Oh, we could try and do some despair action here. Or just get real lucky with crit success and just get all the stats cranked. Either way, works for me. I'll take it. Oh, there we go. Are there any resistances that we do need that we're missing here? Fire, fizz, necrotic. Oh, I'm doing this again. Sorry, guys. Necrotic. We need necrotic. Ah, that could have gone better. Still good to get that necrotic resistance on there. Decent upgrade. I'll take it. Should we try and seal something on this ring? Why not? Right? Let's do health regen. Ha ha! And then let's discover something. Sweet. Love endurance threshold. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. That works for me. Just got really lucky that DevTool is still on, is it? No, I never stream with the DevTool. Just checking to make sure I didn't actually have anything on. No. I would never. Again. Never again. Okay, I'll flip myself back. Look at this, I'm remembering fairly early in the process. Yes. Thought I had enough to use it, but I didn't. Ooh, Ice Beetle, I'll take it. And what's this? Another set of Ice Beetles? My goodness. Those should combine. Got a little beetle army here. How great is that? Come with me, my beetles, and I will show you true power. How about the ability to merge the identical-ish items to get more forging potential? Yeah, so we actually talked about ways to like add forging potential to things. And none of the ones we came up with were like good enough that like didn't cause problems. Yeah. Because there's this sort of like, if you can add forging potential to something, eventually you can guarantee that that item has perfect rolls, and it can hit maximum potential. So like you can just keep re-rolling the base implicits. You can just keep re-rolling all of the affixes. You can just keep like pulling affixes off and putting new affixes on until you get the exact right affixes. Like, sure, there's like a little restriction there. You can't, like, the exalted ones have to drop with it to make it really great item. But there's like, with enough time and investment, this item is just guaranteed going to become the perfect item no matter what. And we were a little hesitant about that as a possibility, which is why there's not a way to just like add forging potential to an item. Right now, it's not something that's completely impossible down the road, but because this was the first version. This was the first version of this thing. Pretty sure. It blurs together what's in which one. But I think this was the first version, 8.4, to have this crafting system. So we were a little bit hesitant to give an effect like that and have to take it away if it didn't work. And like, if we did have an effect like that, we would really want the system to be able to stand up without, like, it would have to be a rare item, right? It would have to be a really rare item. And we'd want the system to feel good and to function well and be fun to use without it if someone didn't find that item, you know? So part of that is, you know, get feedback with the system without that item existing. Hello again, Lizard. I feel like you were here earlier. I don't know why I'm just like, oh hey, Lizard's here. Talking about item implicits, Rune of Shaping can cost up to 25 potential. Yes, I did hear you in the recent podcast that was brought up. I agree with you that the top end range is too high. I disagree with you on what you think the top end range should be. But yes, that we haven't talked about it yet, but that will be a topic for discussion. Because I agree that I don't think they get used very much, except in extreme cases when they man can dream. I think they get. I don't think they get used very much, specifically because the item has to drop being really amazing in other ways already to have any meaningful amount of fortune potential left over once you're finished doing the things that are more important to it. To even look at adding to like working with shaping runes, and I think that the amount of like power you like, there's this budget, there's this like set amount of dollars you have to spend on this item, and the value, the cost analysis of all of the things you can do with it, shaping comes out pretty poorly. And I think there's room for improvement in its ratios without breaking things. But I don't think 1 is the appropriate number. Unless I'm misremembering what you said earlier, but that's what I thought you said was the number you wanted. Alright. I'm gonna lie to myself and say that the 4LP legendary Viper Tail that we got rocking is helping a lot. Just want to say, I need like a like legendary weapon, and I could slap that on something. I could crank the stats on that up. You don't see these very often. But I'm just gonna go try and beat the boss. We're doing it. Boss time. I have seen a lot of talk recently about the time to unlock empowered monoliths being too much of a grind. I just want to tell you that I agree with you. If that's something you're feeling. If it's not, then I don't agree with you, but we've got some plans to just smooth out that process a little bit. Might not be quite enough in the first version, but you know, it is something that's on the radar. That like tiny bit of ward that I'm getting from some source in potions. I know it's like, every once in a while I'm like, what's that blue dot? Oh right. I do get ward in this build. Just a touch.
Hello.
No, Lizard, I actually really liked, if you're, I'm assuming you're still here, I really liked that, that podcast. I thought it was good. I linked it in our development Discord for people to watch. Thought you had some good points. Oh, Berserk just, I don't know, I keep bringing it up, but it feels so much, as soon as it triggers, I'm like, oh, there's Berserk going hard.
Yes.
Let's go. Next one. Next one. I understand, just seems so much loot goes to waste. It just seems sad to leave unique and set items in the trash. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely room in the item system for unused unique and set items to have some sort of effect. So like an example I actually really like is Diablo 3's way where basically any set unique item you don't want, you can just break it down into a crafting material that's useful. And you're gonna need a ton of them drop, you might as well pick them up, you might as well like convert them into the crafting materials, great. And I think that it's good that they don't directly, it's not just, they're not just directly put back into your existing items, they're used for sort of something else. I mean, they do kind of go directly back into the items, but it's more indirectly. And I do really like that. So it's like all these, especially if we're already getting you to, when there's like uniques in this legendary potential, like every unique that drops has the potential to have legendary, has the potential for potential that it can be used. No, but there's a reason to mouse over them, there's a reason to check them. And if you're mousing over them anyways, like having a reason to pick them up can be good as well. Personally, I'd really like to see, like, so I know a lot of lower level uniques that have small amounts of legendary potential. It's kind of the same thing of having like a higher level unique with 0. It's sort of like a, well, who cares, right? In a lot of cases. And so I think that if we were to implement a system like that, that's something we would look at is, does it scale based on legendary potential the unique has? And like, there's nothing directly planned right now for this, so just kind of talking abstractly about the types of things that could be good to do with unused uniques and sets, because it is sort of a like, ooh, yay, one dropped, okay, it's useless, just leave it there, right? And having something more than, okay, just leave it there, I think would be good. I think there's a little bit of a danger in making all of them be pickup worthy, in that you can end up in a situation where your bag's filling up really quick. So having it be a combination of uniques and something else, so maybe it's only uniques with legendary potential, or maybe it's oh, you need to collect specifically weapons right now, and then later you need to collect specifically helmets or something like that. You know, like having some sort of secondary factor that makes them good to pick up. Are there any plans to revisit endurance threshold? Currently it feels like a stat everyone avoids. I think that there's no major plans to now. I think that the mechanics behind the stat is actually really solid. And if anything, there might be thematic ways to add incentives to take advantage of it more on specific classes could be really good. So having more ways inside of Primalist and Sentinel to really take advantage of it, I think would be good. Because those are the more thematically appropriate classes for it. And classes that do already have things with it. It might be missing like some of the deep support of more longer running defensive layers. So like for example block, it's been around since the beginning, so there's more uniques that go with it and things like that. I don't think there's a systematic issue with it really. I guess what I'm saying is that, like, number tweaking, sure. Redesign, nah. It is a very thematic defensive layer. Kind of like dodge is really thematic for rogue. And endurance and block is really thematic for Sentinel, and ward is really thematic for mage, and things like that. So it's tricky to say that the whole system needs an overhaul. If it's not being if it's not being used by most characters, because most characters it's not a heavily thematic thing for. It's not something that gets pushed a lot. You know, it's kind of like how most characters don't use void damage. I don't think that's really a knock on void damage specifically. I think that's just there's less character classes that it's thematic for, so we haven't put it in as many places. Less overall support for it. Yeah, and there are some uniques, Heavy, you're right. So yeah, like he says uniques that interact with endurance threshold, like Anchor Oblivion are one of my favorites. Yeah, and I think having more that interacted with that as a layer would be really positive. These ogres are beefy. I'm getting back up. That double war cry is nice. Oh, roar, double roar. Double roar! I like it. Endurance as a mechanic and endurance percentage as a stat are fine, but endurance threshold as a stat feels like a waste. Oh, you're just saying just like on items? I think it's really important as well to have stats on items that are yeah, I was gonna say weaker, but that might not be the right term. Less sought after as a whole. Like there's, I know I bring this up a lot, but there is something to it, having these things that are less amazing, giving value to the things that are amazing. And that might just be a small, like, okay, well, we'll just bump the numbers up on the tiers of endurance threshold a little bit. Just knock them up a touch, and it'll be better. Maybe there needs to be like some maybe like one of them needs to become a hybrid threshold, so it's like hybrid endurance, and it's endurance percentage and threshold in one stat, and it's less of a waste feeling. But really, it's not doing much different power-wise overall. Love that portal. Always love that portal. Still haven't washed my new shirt yet. I will. Don't worry. I'll wash it. We're gonna put it in the laundry, and then it's like, oh, it might bleed. I don't know. They skipped a few loads with it. A little more health. Get up here, yeah. Make sure you get your pets up there with you. That was a close call. Yeah, okay, so we can kind of tank some of it, but just like... Oh, what are you doing, Mike? That's not how to do this fight. Just so we're clear. Oh, what a... I keep thinking he's going the other way. It's been a while. Okay, let's focus up here and pretend like we know what we're doing.
Is that the best you could do?
Dang it, lost Berserk. The stun. Just long enough.
You are starting to bore me.
Dang it.
Is that the best you could do?
Oh, yep.
Starting to bore me.
Okay. Come on. Let's go on. Let's go. We're over halfway. Almost done. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Oh, he got around it. I'll take it.
You are starting to bore me.
Yeah, that's how you do it right there. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah.
Is that the best you can do?
That one's sneaky where he like puts his head down and it just pops up. It's the sneaky one. No.
Survive my storms.
Lagon is a fairly mechanical fight, but once you get the hang of it, it's not terrible. I know I'm doing this on normal and not empowered, but you know. Yeah, there you go.
Blood is drafted by ocean.
Ugh.
You are starting to bore me.
No, Paddington. This time he's Paddington.
The best you can do.
Yeah. Get it, get it. Alright. I'm glad I'm not the only one that tries to go through that portal. Yeah, well, you know. Just, I see a giant portal, I'm like, you're pretty. Hey Mike, there's some great guides to learn these boss fights. Thanks, Evie, I appreciate it. Did you write any of that? Okay, we're definitely taking lightning resistance. Hey, a sanctum key, nice. Oh. I do like that shield. It's pretty. We're getting a lot of like the 3D models for this for the like new uniques now, as you guys have seen a bunch of them. They look so good. Leak for boss kill. Okay. Speaking of unique items in games that in game that looks cool. Here's one. I know this is a really rare and like it's a niche unique. No one uses it. I don't even know why we kept left in the game really. Yeah, some little effects in there. Really happy with how this one turned out. Yeah. That's it. There's no niche. Don't recognize it. Of course you recognize it. What happened? What did I do? Did I go the wrong way? Did I go this one? Am I a dum-dum? More XP. Pew pew pew. Were those Discord sounds on Mike's stream? No, they were not. My Discord will not make any sounds right now. I can do the boom. Bada-boom. Hmm. I'm not even sure what sound you guys are talking about, to be honest. It did not trigger my... That's where Discord is. It's over there. Just cruise through Lagon, eh? Part of me now really wants to get to Empowered Monoliths using the last bear set. Just to see if it can be done. It's not good. Mess with Lost Ark at all? I've put almost 0 time into Lost Ark myself. I'm hoping to, depending on how the kitchen goes this week coming up. I might take some time in the evening to play it. We're shipping the wife and kid off to my my folks' place and be working on the kitchen floor, being able to do things like paint without a small one in the house and wrecking their lungs. Ooh, which one is this? Nice. So yeah, while they're gone, I might take the opportunity to play a little bit more games in the evenings than I usually would. Probably by myself too exhausted. I know quite a few people have been playing it on the team now. So I've been reading what they've been doing. Definitely seems heavy on the MMO systems. Which is like fine for an MMO. You know? But I really don't want to get sucked into another MMO. I know I casually mention WoW every once in a while. It was bad. Days off were I'd only play for 8 hours on my days off from playing WoW. It was bad. It's 98% MMO and 2% RPG. Yeah, I mean the yeah. I've heard varying degrees I think that's the most skewed in the MMO direction I've heard, but yeah, it seems to be more skewed towards MMO than RPG in general to me. But like I said, no actual experience directly with it. I do actually really love this belt with I was gonna say something about it, I just moused away from it. But like with low life builds, this belt is I remember making this belt for that. Which felt great. I enjoyed my time in WoW, don't get me wrong. It's just, I get really into those things, as I'm sure many of you can empathize with. But yeah, it was a little much. Like at the peak, I was running 3 to 4 pickup groups, full raids in Wrath. So like whatever the top 2 raids were. It was running 3 to 4 pickup groups for those as sort of like just a on the side thing. That ended up all of them ended up becoming 3 very regular groups. It kind of ended up like turning into guilds in a weird way. It was like none of us were in a guild together. It was just like I'd show up to start doing it, and it ended up being like the same people every single time. And that was on top of doing like proper like pushing raiding. And like we've got there's videos up on YouTube of us doing like a server first stuff and all that junk. Oh. Don't recommend you try Last Arc. It will get its hooks in you. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try it. Mostly looking at combat feel and that. I think that's the most valuable part to look at for us. Because that's the part that's closest to us. It looks gorgeous. Looks just gorgeous. I don't think there's any debate there. Oh, that's interesting. Heavy, your most played game was Marvel Heroes. I missed that one and was very sad about it. I played like a tiny little bit of it, but like not really. A lot of times references get brought up about Marvel Heroes as a mechanical reference for a lot of systems when discussing them. I would love for someone to like figure out a way to resurrect a server for it. That'd be great. It would take someone extremely smart and extremely dedicated. Oh, what a good charge. Oh no, I lost Theodore at some point. Oh no, he's right here. Not sure how that happened, but sweet, I'll take it. It's fun in that tempo pacing with rotation is a lot more important with keeping up DPS plus just positioning as well, but it's definitely an MMO with ARPG similar endgame content time-wise. Yeah, that's the feeling I've been getting from it. Which 10 years ago, we'd be having a very different discussion. I'd be like, I still haven't logged out yet. Any update if LE will move towards having guilds? I gotta say, one thing I love about Lost Ark is being able to work together as a community. You know, that's very MMO. Yeah, guilds are interesting. There's we've gone back and forth on guilds as a mechanic in Epoch quite a few times, and I don't want to say something that's wrong. But I guess I would say is check out the that thing we did, the multiplayer FAQ. There's mention of guilds in there, I'm pretty sure. Because yeah, guilds are a great way in games as a social tool to build small communities to play and work together, and like, I would be surprised if we never incorporate them in some way. It might not be a 1.0 thing, but I really think guilds are a useful tool. Marvel Heroes was bought by Tryon Worlds, which was bought by Game Ago. I actually met with Game Ago at one point. They do have questionable cash shops and marketing tactics, but maybe someday. Maybe someday. Yeah, we're kind of talking about Marvel Heroes. There's it gets used as a reference. I was saying earlier, it gets used as a reference sometimes. We're like discussing some mechanic, like, oh, we should do this, 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 this. Someone's like, well, that's Squirrel Girl. We're like, what? All right, we're getting pretty close to the end of the stream. I do have one more little tidbit for you. A little concept art. You a Squirrel Girl main? Respect. I have no idea if it was good or not. One little treat for the end of the stream. If anyone's got any questions, I'm not going to go into another echo, but feel free to bump out some questions here, and I'll do my best. Yeah, there's like, I really like some of these. Are just, it's so great. Getting that, like, this is what I was saying earlier about getting that thematic, like, energy into into skills really helps a lot. And I know this is kind of bringing it back on a little bit different topic, but these feel really cool, and having them be so, like, strong thematically, like tying these totems to what they're doing and having them look interesting and feel cool, I guess. I think it ties back around to the question about just having anything being converted. Even if there's less mechanical options, it can actually be better for the game overall in some scenarios. Yeah. But yeah, our totems right now are pretty bland overall. Like, there's not a lot of visual distinction. Like, this one's got the little spikes that come in and out of them, but it's the same base totem as what's used for anything else, really. I don't want to despec something to figure it out. What are they using in the slot? Jump. Jump, jump. So, leaning towards guilds in the future? I mean, I don't know what the thing says. I can't remember where we landed with guilds. I think guilds are, personally, I think guilds are a really useful tool, and I'd love to see them in the future. Whether or not they fit into how multiplayer ends up going and coming out and all that sort of stuff, yet to be seen. Definitely not off the table. Our team knocking out of the park again. Thank you very much. They are really kicking butt. Like, so often I'll just, like, pop into an art channel and look at what they're doing. I'm like, how? It's cool. How? I don't understand. So cool. Anyways, yep. That's it for today. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I'll be back next week, same time, same place. We'll have more cool stuff to share.